to the Ladies Car Care Talk Show. I'm here again, and today I have a very special guest. Her name is Char, and I can't wait for you to hear her story. So, Char, tell us who you are and what do you do?
Hello, good morning, and thank you so much for having me, Cindy. My name is Char Miller King. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a woodworker and a woodshop teacher.
Yay, I love that. You have to follow her. She does so amazing things. You have to follow her. We're going to talk more about your story, but tell me how all this the wood started. Like, what was the thing that is you make you decide, oh, I'm going to go for this path?
When I graduated from college, I, like most people, had these grandiose dreams of landing some high-paying job, but unfortunately, I was still interning, so I wasn't making a lot of money, but I still had this expensive taste. And I moved into my first apartment with my best friend, and of course, I needed furniture. So of course, I go to the most expensive furniture store in Atlanta, and I find a bed that I like, and this bed is amazing, and it would fit perfectly in my room. The only problem was I could not afford this bed. But for some reason, I kept going back to the store to see if it was on sale or someone would be nice enough to just give it to me. I don't know why anyone would do that. But about the fifth trip to the store, I'm literally laying on the floor, looking under the bed, trying to see how it was constructed. And it was like a light bulb went off. I said, I could probably make this bed. I had never used a power tool that I can remember. I think I used to help my uncle in his shop when I was younger, but probably just gluing pieces of wood together. So I called my uncle up, who is a carpenter, and he makes the most beautiful furniture. I said, okay, I want to make this bed. And I took a picture of the bed from the catalog with my razor flip phone. I'm dating myself, aren't I? I said, okay, I want to make this bed. What do I need? He said, go to the store, have them cut the wood to these dimensions. And then I borrowed a drill from my boss at the time. It took me 3 months to build a platform bed. I had no idea what I was doing, but I slept on that bed for 7 years. I didn't fall out of it. It didn't break. I was so happy that I had made a bed, but that is what did the bug for me. I said, well, that was fun. I can make other things. And so I did. I eventually moved to an apartment with a garage and bought a circular saw. And most of the furniture that I built in the beginning was pretty bad. It was put together with butt joints, which is the weakest possible joint as far as wood is concerned. But I was so proud that I had made this bookcase and I made this ottoman, and oh, wouldn't it be so cool if I could just make stuff all day? Because pretty much all of my resources and my money went to power drills and saws and tools and screws. And the people at Lowe's knew me by name and they started giving me the manager's discount. But back in 2000, quietly, a long time ago, that's when it started. And it was sort of then that I knew that I had found something that I was truly passionate about.
I love that. As me, I always said, I didn't know anything about cars either. Like 6 years ago. And I put this tag on me that said I came from clueless to confident because I didn't know anything. Now, when you make a decision to start learning something that you said, hey, I'm capable of doing this, why not? And you start doing it and you see like, oh, it's so simple. And I love to hear that from you because I said, well, you didn't know anything about wood, but you decide to learn and you just grab the tools that you need and start, going in that path. And I love that. And one thing that I want to mention is why Cindy is bringing this topic about wood and the auto episode. Well, I really want to bring this topic in because as in the auto industry, sometimes we think that it's a male dominated industry. the same as in like on the on charts industry and everything about wood. There can be, I mean, it's really hard sometimes to see a woman working on wood. And that's what it caught my attention, because it was like, yes, I mean, women are very capable of doing anything. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's wood, cars, or different things. I mean, we can do anything. So tell me the struggles. I mean, once you had your idea, you know you like it, you know that was something that you would like to pursue. But after that, what was the struggles that you started facing once you were in that path?
At the expense of sounding cliche, the struggle is real. When I started making furniture, there was no YouTube. There was nowhere for me to turn to see any other females making things or DIY. Most of the people that are into it now are half my age. So they were still in preschool when I started building. I took a few classes at local stores, how to make a picture frame, how to make a toolbox. And of course, I was the only female. I was young. I was in my 20s, and I was nervous. You already walk in thinking, I'm not good enough. I don't know what they know. They are going to wonder why I am here. What could I possibly do with this tool? What knowledge could I have? And you sort of get dismissed or treated with kid gloves. Oh, you know, there's a lady, there's a girl. Let me talk in a slower, quieter voice. And when she does something good, let me pat her on the back and say, good job. And they might as well just put a gold sticker on your forehead because you did something completely exceptional and out of the box for picking up a tool or doing something that you've only ever seen a man do. I lived in that space for so long, being insecure about being around other men who I assumed, without knowing, that they had more experience than me in the craft and hobby that I was pursuing. But you and I both know that that is not always true.
Yeah.
We assume men know more because men have traditionally been the ones doing the hands-on jobs, and women are in the house taking care of babies, making food, cleaning. Well, guess what? I have a public service announcement. The future is female.
Yay!
You can do all of those things. Take care of the babies, take care of the house, cook the food, fix the car, and build the bed.
Yeah.
We can do all of those things, and we can do it with beauty, with grace, with class. And now, as an older woman, now I understand I don't have to be insecure. I don't have to be don't have confidence in myself that these guys know more than me. And I've proven it time and time again, not verbally, not saying I know more than you or I can do this. I go in, head down, do my work, and show you that I can build this, use this tool, and you can fix this car. And then, of course, people will still have their mouths open. When you're out with a guy friend or whomever, and the car breaks down, and he goes, well, maybe we should call AAA. And you say, don't worry about it. And you pop the hood, and you see the smoke, and you identify the problem. You know how to jumpstart the car. You know how to change the oil. You have a flat tire. You know how to change that flat tire. And it's not about bragging rights or saying, I did that. Those type of things instill that belief in yourself that I will not be put into a box because of my anatomy. I will not be told that I can't do anything because a lot of people don't do it. That is the best time to do something when there's not a lot of people doing it, because you want to be an innovator. You want to be a leader. You want to be able to teach someone else what you know, because we do not have the gifts, the passions, or the talents that we have just to exalt ourselves. We have those things so that we can share them with other people, because I believe that increases our favor when we share our talents and our gifts with someone else. I do have a couple of stories that I want to share with you and your audience about times when men have I could have just crawled into one of the boxes that I made and just said, you know what, I'm not doing this. As I mentioned earlier, I teach woodshop, and one of the places that I teach woodshop is at a makerspace here in Atlanta. I truly enjoy working with children and teaching them how to use power tools. I was leading up a birdhouse class, and I whipped together this prototype of the birdhouse so that the kids would know this is what we're building. I think it took me maybe, 30 minutes to cut the wood, screw, done. So I called for volunteers to come and help us with the class this particular day. And I walk in, there's a group of maybe 4 or 5 older white men. They weren't middle-aged. And hey guys, and this is before I stepped into myself, before I stepped into who I am now. And so what do you have there, Char? Sells a prototype of the birdhouse that we're going to build today. One of the guys gets up from the table, takes the birdhouse, and he says, this birdhouse is not square. And by square, I mean, it didn't make a perfect square. Maybe one side was 5 inches and the other side was 5.1825. He takes the birdhouse, tells me it's not square, turns around, walks into the wood shop and completely rebuilds the birdhouse. And I can't think of another time that I felt so small and so insignificant.
Oh, no.
But that feeling lasted maybe 2 to 3 minutes, because at that moment, I decided that because I was in this role of being a woodworker, and I knew that society saw that as a man's job, that I would have to change the way I thought about myself in my position. I did not like the way that I felt. We, women, everybody is in control of their feelings, their emotions. We allow people to make us feel a certain way, right?
Exactly.
So I was giving my power over to somebody else and allowing him to make me feel less than when I am not less than, right? I was there to share what I knew with children about tools and help them build something that they could use at home, where they can be one with nature and learn about birds and learn how to take care of birds and feed them. But that moment was focused on me and the lack of knowledge that this person thought that I had. Of course, I mean, he's in his 60s. I would hope that he knows more than me about woodworking, and rightfully so. And if he does, fine.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got past that feeling, I said, I will never let anyone make me. I will never allow anyone to make me feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever I go, I walk in with confidence. I know what I know. There will always be someone who knows more than you, but there will always be someone who knows less. So there have been other situations like that. I shared with you before about the time I called into the customer service line. I called for help with a tool that was stuck. I thought maybe I was doing something wrong. I'm not really an instructions reader type of person. I just rather figure it out. And the person on the hotline said, is there a man around that could possibly help you get this unstuck? And because I am not a mean person, I did not hang up in his face. But every ounce of me wanted to. And my mouth was just open. I said, I can't believe he said that. But there will always be people who think that way.
Yeah.
right? And your job is not to persuade them to think differently. Your job is to focus on you and perfecting your craft and increasing your knowledge and your skill about cars, about woodworking, about plumbing, about engineering, all of these roles that are traditionally male.
Mm-hmm.
We are changing the game. There's nothing men can do about it. Thankfully, we have people like you who are getting these women involved and empowering them in more ways than one. Not just saying, okay, this is how you fix a car. You're connecting to their mind, you're connecting to their spirit, you're connecting to their physical capabilities and giving them more than just the skills to know how to work on cars. So I thank you for being in this space.
Oh no, thank you. I mean, right now, while I was hearing what you're sharing, it's like it's so true. Sometimes because there's so many stereotypes out there and cultural things in the society that when we show up in different places and think, are you sure there's not your husband around or your neighbor or someone that can help you? And we're like, no, in that moment, like you said, I was never gonna let no one to make me feel like that. It just got me thinking. It's like we have the power of making one decision and to write our own story. In the case of you're gonna let this thing happen, and I'm not saying, oh, you have to start fighting with this person and saying you prove them they're wrong. No, but you have to make the decision how confident you are and say, no, I'm not gonna let anyone to treat me this way. I'm not gonna let anyone to change the mindset that I have because I know I'm capable of doing it. I know I can, and this is not just a men thing. And I was in the last episode that we had one of our guests, he was talking about confidence. And I love what he says, that confidence sometimes says we have to think it this way. We have a pen and we have our own book, and you are the one who are writing your own story. No one else can come and write a chapter for you. You're the one that has the power to delete or erase anything in that book because it's your story, no one else. And I love that analogy because like how we were sharing right now is like, no, I make the decision that I'm not going to let anyone to come and make me feel this way. So everything is just one decision away. And I love that. And really right now, I know a lot of our audience are in situations like that, mostly in the auto industry, because it's still, there's a lot of people out there that think that women cannot do cars, that women cannot get their hands dirty and they're supposed to be in their houses taking care of the kids and that's it. But I mean, if you really want to feel, if you feel in your heart that this is your purpose, that this is the thing that God put in your heart to go for it, just go for it. Exactly. Just follow your dreams, follow your instincts, and just go for it. I really love your story. And I feel that, God is going to do amazing things through you. Well, he's already doing it.
He connected me to you. Come on. That's no coincidence. For everybody listening, we both have 4 children.
Yes.
We're both entrepreneurs. So we understand each other, we get each other, and we're not letting that stop us. So to the women and the men listening, a lot of people will say, oh, I can't do this because I have a big family, because I have all of these responsibilities. But you and I are living proof that you can follow your dreams.
Yes.
I'm sure Cindy will support me on this. It is hard. It is not a walk in the park. It's hard, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices. But the most important thing is to remember why you're doing it, what you're doing. Exactly. If you say, I don't like to be someone who does not know how to do things and have to rely on someone else for everything. It's okay to take your car to the shop and drop it off and leave it. But wouldn't it be better if when the technician came back and he said, you need this, this, and this, instead of saying, okay, here's my credit card, here's $2,000 or $3,000, wouldn't it be great if you could ask him or her some follow-up questions? Oh, well, why do I need to have the front brakes done? I just had the back brakes. And forgive me because I know nothing about cars, which is why I know Cindy now. Can't you just rotate the brake pads? Or, I just had this tire change from somebody else. Are you sure it's flat? And they may go back and go, oh, you know what? Oh, we can just patch it up rather than give you a new tire. But having the knowledge to ask those follow-up questions is everything.
Yeah, definitely. And you touch a few points here. And I know when we met the first time, we met in Clubhouse, by the way. And I just feel that, these are divine connections. That's the way that I call it, because we connected, and the first time we talked, we're like, wow, yeah, we have a lot of things in common. And yeah, she's so right. I have 4 kids. By the way, I have a 3 months old. And you can do anything. Like I said, I'm going to go back to this. If you really want to pursue your dreams, you have to make the decision to make the time. A lot of the things that I hear is like, no, I don't have the time. I have kids to take care of. I have things to do at the house, and I cannot do something that I really want. Well, let me tell you that, yes, you can. I remember for me, a year ago, when all the pandemic started, I was like, oh no, the kids are not going to school. I'm going to have them here. Now what I'm going to do. And, I had to make the time, and I was sharing with Char, it's like, I have to wake up at 4 a.m. That's me. That doesn't have to be you. You can be a night owl and say, you know what, I'm going to stay an hour before the kids go to bed and do my things. Everything is up, however you modify it in your time. But for me, it works at 4 a.m. in the morning. I wake up, everything is quiet. That's right now. We're 6:30 in the morning right now. Everything is quiet. Kids still sleeping. I can focus in my thing. And I love doing that because that's my time. That's my time that I can focus for myself first and then for my business. So yes, you're so right in there. And just was a matter of making that decision and said, oh no, I'm going to make this happen and I'm going for it, So yeah, when you say that, yeah, definitely it's something that we are all moms. Like, we're super moms. We're capable of doing so many things at once.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So, and the confidence that you were saying is yes. Knowledge is power. So if you make the decision of learn something, go for it, because you're going to get confidence in that because you have the power of knowledge in you.
Exactly. And I like the fact that you set your day with intention. And a lot of people don't do that. We're on autopilot. Get up, run here, drop this off, go here. And we're just going. And we don't think about how we engage with our time. Of course, we think that we're using our time wisely because we're doing the things that we need to do. But what we don't remember is all the things that we're doing that we're wasting time on, scrolling through our phones, on the internet. We have to learn to remove those time wasters so that we can make time for the things that are most important to us. I started keeping a log of how I spend my time to figure out what can I do differently. There's got to be a place for me to learn more or do more where each day I don't go to bed and go, oh, I got nothing done today. What did I actually do all day? And by my children just going back to school, I actually have time to think about how I want to spend my day and what my goals are. So the night before, I will list out the most important things that I need to accomplish the next day and assign a time to them. Because I can go, oh, well, okay, I'm going to check my emails tomorrow because my inbox is going to implode at any moment, right? But I know that as soon as I get one email that says, sign up for this free, click here. Then I click there, and then I go to their Instagram page, and then I go to their Facebook page, and then I have to text my friend about it. And then me and my friend get into a text conversation, and then someone called, and then 2 hours later, I'm like, I didn't even finish checking my email. Why? So I say, no, okay, I'm checking these emails for 15 minutes.
Exactly.
I need to wash the dishes. That's going to take me 10 minutes. Being intentional about my day so that I can squeeze in the time for the things that matter most. If people want to come to your shop and take a class, right? The kids, breakfast, lunch. Okay, well, you know that you want to come to the shop and take this class. So you need to make the kids lunch or their breakfast the night before so that they can heat it up, or whoever is there can heat it up. So you don't have to worry about that. You say, I have this goal. By the end of the year, I want to know how to change oil in a car, right? I know the basics. I know you go to AutoZone and you buy oil and let's see, I'm looking under the hood. There's like so many different, I don't know. Like I already feel panic attack coming on because I'm not even sure like what to unscrew. Or should I try it? Or if I put the wrong oil in, will that mess up my car? Do I need the expensive one or can I use the generic one? But if you set that goal, okay, this year, 2021, and I'm mostly talking to myself, I'm going to learn how to change oil in a car.
Yeah.
And whatever I have to set aside, whatever I have to pre-plan, I'm going to do it because that is my goal. And if you need to put that goal on a sticky on your desk, I believe 110% in manifestation and vision boards. I can give you 100 different examples on how they have worked for me in very scary and unreal ways. I could tell you guys a little bit about that. I have interesting, fun stories too, if we have time for it. But planning on learning those new things. And the one thing, and of course, I mostly can speak from a mother's perspective, because part of the reason why we as women say we don't have time is because we are the primary caretakers of our children. Get your kids involved.
Exactly.
I spent a good 2 years pushing my children out of my videos that I was creating for social media, doing 100 takes. Just give mommy a minute. I'll be done. I'm pushing them out of the background. Until one day I said, you know what? I'm done pushing them out. Come into the video. And the internet loves it. They apparently love children.
Yeah.
So my youngest children are twins. They are now 6. They're girls. I stay home with them, which means they were glued to my side. They were in the shop with me all the time. They now own their own set of power tools. They have named themselves the Maker Twins. Yeah. They steal my scrap wood and put things together, and whatever they can create, they will. And I love that. And I don't do it because the internet loves it, but I have taught little girls how to use power tools. And they're asking me, when are you going to let us use the bandsaw? And I'm thinking, okay, it'll be this year. The youngest that I've taught to use a miter saw is 7. But I mean, they're my kids. I'm like, okay, I think you're ready to use the bandsaw. And my fear, not my fear, but they're going to love it just as much as I do. They're going to try and go outside and make things on their own.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
I know. But we talked a little bit about leap of faith. If I can just share my story really quickly. I don't know if most people just want to learn how to work on cars, or maybe you're thinking of starting your own shop, or you want to help someone in the shop, or in any capacity. I just want to tell you a story about taking a leap of faith and trusting your passion. And you don't have these passions or curiosities or drive just for nothing. These things are instilled in you for a reason. As I mentioned, I started making things right out of college with no expectation. My plan was never to become a woodworker. I went to school for public relations. I've always worked in event planning and event management, and that was my space. But then I found this other thing that I really, really, really enjoy doing, and the passion for it only grew stronger and stronger over the years. But I mean, by this time, I'm married, I have 2 kids, I have daycare, I have private school, I have this very cool job with this corner office, and life is grand. I am climbing the corporate ladder, but I'm sitting there thinking, wow, I've made it. Like, this is the American dream, right? Townhouse in the city, nice husband, 2 adorable children, good paying job, benefits. Life is good. But I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. In what world can I leave this job and just do what I want to do all day? And I went over that scenario in my head so many times with my husband. It went something like this. So I was thinking maybe I would leave my job and, see where this woodworking thing goes. I mean, I don't have any plans. I really don't know what I'm going to make. I don't own a lot of tools, but I just want to see. And that happened for maybe 2 or 3 years. And of course, I've never had that conversation because I'm pretty sure my husband would have gave me the, what are you thinking? Look, no, we can't do that. But guess what? I never had to have that conversation because me, in my infinite wisdom and all knowing, told God, I'm done having children. We are happy with the 2 children that we have. Let's scientifically make it so that we cannot have any more children, so that we can move and buy a bigger house and pay off these bills. And this is the plan. Okay, let's write this plan on a piece of paper. Honey, you sign it and I will sign it and we will date it. I kid you not. Within 1 month, my oldest daughter's school, after being open for 65 years, decided that they were going to close. The Lord was leading them in a different direction. We had missed the deadline to apply for all other private schools. They had to reopen it once they found out this school was closing. For those of you who, and this is new because I went to private school in California and I remember not doing this, but now applying to private school is like applying to college, even when you're 5. There are essays, there are letters of recommendation, there are observation days. And I'm just like, where are we going? Are we going to Harvard Law? Are we going to first grade? I'm confused. So 3 months of stress of finding a school. Then we found her school, and as God would have it, this school that we decided to send her to was a public school, which, no offense to public school, I've never been, did not want to send my children to public school. We decided to send her to a new charter school that did not have a brick and mortar location yet, but it was free, right? Once they found the location, they decided to lease the land of her old school. So she was able to be in the same place at a different school. And of course, we didn't have to pay tuition anymore. By the summer, I found out that I was pregnant. If you remember, I said we would fix it where I could not be pregnant, but I was pregnant. So yes, sure, of course, we can handle 3 children, right? Until you go to that first appointment and you tell your husband you will go by yourself. It is your 3rd rodeo. You are a pro. You need no help. You can push baby out with no problem. I'm at the appointment, tell my midwife, just check to make sure it's 1 baby. I have a plane to catch. She tells me she hears 2 heartbeats. I, again, infinite wisdom, tell her machine is broken, which is followed by the director of maternal fetal medicine coming in, confirming that indeed I am having twins. After crying and screaming and disbelief, I accept the fact that I am pregnant with twins. Because I told God 9 months before that I was done and this was my plan. And he said, no, let me show you who's in charge. I'm not only going to make you pregnant with one, I'm going to make you pregnant with two.
Two.
I said, okay, no problem. So I get terribly sick with the twins. Terribly sick. My husband is taking care of me, taking care of our children. I'm on all types of medication and IV fluids, and he's changing my fluids in the middle of the night. And then he loses his job. So he has a pregnant wife with twins, sick as a dog, a 2-year-old, and a 7-year-old that he's taking care of. And now he has no job. I'm trying to work as much as I can from home because I'm too sick to go into the office. They're telling me at work, are you coming back after the twins are born? Of course I'm coming back. Why would I not come back? How can you do this job with 4 children? Right? Because remind you, I'm a woman, and women cannot have high-paying, high-powered jobs with 4 children because, in case you guys didn't know, we're still living in the 1950s. I'm joking, by the way. You are a boss if you're listening to this, and you can do anything you want, and do not ever let a man or a woman tell you that you cannot do something.
Yep.
So, of course, I have the twins. They arrive safely. And I take my maternity leave. I go back to work. I was the manager of my department. When the manager isn't there, sometimes things fall apart. While I was away, someone else was brought in to keep the Band-Aid on everything. And they ended up giving that person my job. So I returned back to work, was asked to move out of my corner office because it was bigger than the new manager. So I'm in this space. My family went from 4 to 8. And you're thinking, 8, my in-laws moved in with us to help with the twins. My family's gone from 4 to 8 overnight. I don't know my role at work. I have a new manager. Am I still a manager? I'm being asked to move out of my office. Everything is just spiraling out of control. And I'm thinking, this is the worst, right? This is the worst. Everything is just not going well for me right now. I stayed at that job for 5 months after maternity leave. And I stayed because I did not want to give them the satisfaction of pushing me out. And also to tell myself that I am capable of doing a job with the children. But after about 5 months, I did feel my mental health start to wane. And I knew that it was not a safe place for me to be, or for me to be the best mother and wife that I could be. So I left. I came home and I had the conversation that I always wanted to have with my husband. I said, I'm leaving. And I think at that moment he knew that something bad was going to happen if I didn't leave. So he said, how long do I have? I said, you have 2 weeks. And I turned in my notice and I never looked back. I did not have a plan in place. I did not have $100,000 in my savings. I didn't know what I was going to do, if I was going to look for another job. I didn't know. But what I want to share most importantly with you is I stayed home for a year, just taking care of those twins. And after about a year, I realized that all of that had happened so that I could step into what I'm living now. That had to happen. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have to go through some horrible, sad, bad, tragic, rough times. It could be a day, a month. In my case, it was over a year. That was back in 2014 and the beginning of 2015. Since then, never once have I woken up and thought, gee, I wish I was back at work. Never once have I said, I wish that I had that salary still. Never once do I regret anything that happened, any of the decisions that were made during that time, because all of those things paid off for me now. I can wake up and do whatever I want to do. I can work as much as I want or as little as I want. The way that the universe has just opened up for me is indescribable. Yes, Clubhouse is great for a lot of things, but when it connects to like-minded people like you and I, that's no coincidence. All of the opportunities that I have been blessed with, I can't thank God enough for them, because none of them have I ever sought out on my own. They've all come to me, and I make sure that I am grateful for those and never boastful about them. So if there is anything that you want to do, that you are thinking about doing, and you're thinking, oh, I don't have all of my ducks in a row to make this happen. I don't see how this can happen, how I can learn this new skill, how I can connect with this person, how I can have this conversation with my spouse. What about my kids? You're thinking about all the wrong things. You need to think about, I am going to make this happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it is going to happen, because what you think is what you will say, and what you say is what will happen.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What an inspirational story you just shared. Wow. I'm just, my heart is just beating so hard, because it makes me remember that sometimes when we think we are having the roughest time, the bad time that you're like, oh, I don't have a job. I don't know what else to do. With my kids, my husband loses his job, and all of those things, we think that we're in the wrong time. But actually, that's the process that we need to be in order to fulfill what God has for us in the future. That's the process that God uses to help us in either, I don't know. I mean, either one of us has different process, but I mean, that's the process that you are right now. The situation that you are right now is what you need to fulfill whatever God has for you. So, I'm so grateful that you shared that, because I believe that a lot of times we think, oh no, God, I forgot about me. Or, no, I don't have the time. I'm never going to accomplish these things. But no, I mean, if you decide, obviously, it's not only God that he's going to come and going to bring something magic and, oh, it's happening. No, it has to be a process. It has to be a process. It's not easy. You have to work for it, and you have to just keep showing up in everything that you're doing. So I love that you shared that, because everything that we do, and now that, just seeing your career now and all of that, you are building a platform for your kids. So now your kids doesn't have to start from scratch. They're going to come and going to start jumping from your shoulders and up. And I love that, because it's not like our kids going to have to happen the same process that we did. But no, we're leaving this platform where they can start from our shoulders to jump back, and they're going to do greater things than the ones that we're doing. So I love that. And I know for you there, God opened different doors. And I remember you mentioned that even God opened the door for being in PBS Kids. And imagine you're creating a big impact for your kids, but not just for your kids. But the channels that God is opening for you to impact another kids, another lives, another generations. That's another thing. Can you share about that with us?
Sure. So Cindy mentioned, I've done some TV work. I've been on PBS telling my story and how I got started in woodworking. I've done some things with CNN and an organization called Tools and Tiaras, which is based in New York, they hold a summer camp for young girls, teaching them about different trades that women can be involved in: plumbing, electrical work, carpentry. And of course, due to the pandemic, meeting in person wasn't possible. So they reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in leading a carpentry course, which we did. We sent birdhouse kits to girls all over the country, and we constructed those kits together over Zoom using a drill. I've also worked in schools teaching kids with learning disabilities how to use power tools. I've introduced epoxy resin to third graders. The list is endless. I know you can't see my face, but when I talk about doing things with kids, it fills me with some sort of joy just to see a young person be introduced to a new medium. One of the most important things we can do for our young people is instill confidence in them, because the world in itself will do enough to tear them down.
Yeah.
So if we can plant a seed through giving them the opportunity to learn through a craft. And there's been several different studies on how making helps children to learn. A lot of times kids are just sitting at a desk and they're learning, and they have to consume all of this information that's fed to them orally, but they don't have enough hands-on experience to actually learn the way children should learn, through making, through tinkering. What we see as scratch paper and kids making a mess, they're actually learning. They're learning about how things interact with each other. My children have used every single thing in this house to make experiments. They call them experiences. It is an experience, but there's baking soda and there's flour and there's whatever. And I let them make. Yes, it is messy, but I let them make, because what I'm telling them without saying it is I'm giving them creative liberty to use their minds to come up with whatever end goal they have in mind. It may not make sense to me. I mean, I still don't understand why a black Sharpie, Orbeez, and flour and food coloring make a great experiment. But at 6, you have something in your mind. You have an idea. And those Orbeez are going to turn black, and you're going to make sure they turn black. But you're doing much more than saying, go play, this is your busy time. And I think a lot of people don't think about it like that, but we need to learn to change our mindset, how we approach teaching our young people, and what happens as a result of what we teach them and how we teach them. And of course, our children have to legally be in school, but don't think that school is giving them everything that they need in order to be successful in life and in a future career. But I digress about my involvement with children and teaching them. I sit on the board at our makerspace, Fair Makers, and one of our biggest missions and goals is to empower our young people and to allow making to be accessible to everybody. And for those of you who aren't familiar with a makerspace usually contains everything that you could think of that someone would want to learn or do with their hands. For example, we have a metal shop for welding. We have a wood shop, laser printing, 3D printing. We build radios. We have a teen PC build club. We have a girls maker club. We have an initiative called Making Spaces, where we go out into underserved communities and help teachers incorporate STEM learning into their existing curriculum. And a lot of that is changing the mindset of these teachers and empowering them on how they can incorporate those things to help their students be better. And most importantly, helping people who are in underserved communities who may never have the opportunity to experience some of the things that we offer. So what we do is very steeped in community and giving back and teaching, and the way that we do it through fundraising. We have meetups. I mean, I guess everybody can agree that the pandemic has pretty much sort of wrecked everybody's plans. I think like 99% of people, their lives are about to take off in a very amazing way in February of last year. For some reason, it was February. This was about to happen. That was about to happen. And it all came to a halt. And I think 2020 was another setback. I mean, for everybody, but I can compare it to my 2014. It's a setback, right? But instead of this time thinking, oh, things are spiraling out of control, I think about, okay, how can I do things differently and how can I make things better? So one of the ways that we did that at the Makerspace to keep people involved in making was to start take and make projects where we would prepare something, people will come to the space, pick it up, and either make it in their own time or make it over Zoom. One of the things that we did with kids was for Father's Day, we made LED cards. So I cut out different colored ties on my Cricut and packaged that up with copper tape, LED lights, and a coin cell battery, put it in a Ziploc bag. If you signed up, you can come to the space, pick it up. We got together, we made it online. I partnered with a machine company called Avid CNC to create plant stands. So it's basically pieces of wood that are pre-cut and you can assemble them by interlocking them with no tools, stain them, paint them, and you have a paint stand. I did online SketchUp classes. SketchUp is a software used to design. Interior designers use it, woodworkers use it. I'm pretty sure that you could design your own vehicle in SketchUp, but looking for ways to keep people making, because as you know, it's something about working with your hands that feeds your soul. And if your soul is not being fed, that affects so many different other areas of your life. And 2020 just really ripped me apart because I could not do the thing that I love the most, but it's forced me to come up with new ways to do that and to share. So whether that's on television, a podcast, I'm there. I am there. I am there as a woman. I am there as a person of color. I'm there as a mother. I am there as a maker, as a teacher. I'm there for all of it.
I love it. I love it. I think 2020 for everyone was a new experience, a new way of thinking, a new way of doing and create and do so many creative things and how you can stand out. And yeah, I think for everyone, it was a change. But I love that you said that you start finding new ways of providing this to new kids. And I love that because that's a life skill. There's a lot of things that schools won't teach kids. And it's as a mom talking about in a parent perspective, you have the responsibility of teaching your own kids life skills. We teach our kids, my husband and I, we teach our kids about cars. So, hey, this is not this is not an option here in the house. You're going to learn. I'm not saying you're going to be a mechanic or you're actually going to go pursue this, but this is something that you will learn because you're not going to struggle with this. This is not an option in our house, and you will do it. You will learn it. And if you, anyway, when an emergency comes, you already know what to do. And it's our homework as a parents to equip our kids. So I love all the workshops that you said you're doing, because those are tools for parents that don't know exactly how to teach kids different ways of creating of do. And what you said about makers and all of that helps the creativity of the kids just to flow. You're just giving them the tools and they can dive in and just start creating. You never know what they're going to come up with. You don't know if you have the next Einstein in your hands. You never know. But I love that. And I just we're about to end this episode. But this has been an incredible episode. We're talking about different things. But at the end of this episode, I want you to stay with the empowering part that no one can come and tell you what to do and how to do it. You have the power and decision how you can pursue your dreams, help your kids, and just go for it. And I just want to ask you, Char, before we say goodbye. I mean, I know you already shared so many good nuggets in here, and I'm pretty sure that you have to go back and listen this episode again and take notes, because there's so much good stuff on this episode. But there's something advice that you want to give moms out there. They are trying to start in this journey of, oh, I'm a mom. I don't know how to start. I know I already make the decision that I'm going to go for it, that I'm capable of doing anything, that not because I'm a woman, I cannot do it, but actually even this male dominated industries, we can do things, but I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start. I don't know. I know I'm in my process right now. I'm struggling. I'm this. What advice will you give them when they are in that position?
Everybody has a chapter 1. Be very careful not to compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. Limiting beliefs result in limited behaviors. So consider the way that you think about yourself, that you think about the world around you, and don't compare yourself to anybody else. You are your own competition.
Wow. What? Wow. What a powerful ending. Okay, you have it. You are your own competition. You have to stop comparing to anyone. I mean, you're going to write your own story, and you're going to be in your own process. I love that. So I hope that everyone enjoyed this episode as I did. I have so much fun with Char and so inspired by hearing her story. So please, if you think that this episode will inspire someone else, share it, because I know a lot of people now in my head, I'm going to share it because they have to listen to this story. So thank you, Char, for being part of the Ladies Car Care Talk Show. I'm so honored to have you here and that you were part of this episode. So, hey, guys, see you on the next episode and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Ladies Car Care Talk Show. For more resources from Cindy or to join the Ladies Car Care Facebook community, you can follow the links in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening and share with your friends.